just a friendly disclaimer. We're not a medical advice. We do not subscribe to medical advice. We are sharing information to enhance your life, to enhance your mental health. And again, this is just a friendly disclaimer. Anything concerning our videos is not intended for a medical professional. It does not replace any medical professional advice. Please seek your medical professional team for anything concerning your mental health, physical health. Again, we are here for you.
Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Just Stop It with yours truly, the Grand Queen in the house, founder of the Just Stop It podcast, mental health podcast. We are here to support you. Listen, we got a good one for you today, and we've got our phenomenal JTI team in his house tonight. We've got our hotspot of the show, our host, the opulent one, Shannon Chappelle in the house.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Shannon.
Hey,
we are good. How about
doing?
you? Great.
I'm good.
Absolutely glad to see you. Glad to hear you.
Glad to see you too.
Absolutely glad to be seen.
Yeah.
Hey, woo! And we also have that phenomenal apple who doesn't fall far from this amazing tree, our very own Trayvon Gray in the house. Trayvon Trey Wiz
Hey
in
y'all,
the house.
what's going
our
on?
media
What's
producer,
going on?
our
Hey,
own.
Sean.
What's going
Hey,
on,
Trey.
everybody?
All
How
right.
y'all feeling?
We are good.
I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely. How
I'm
about
doing
you?
pretty good, mommy. Thank you.
That's good.
Doing
I
good,
like
y'all.
that.
Enjoying my day off.
Absolutely. That's a
Mhm.
good thing.
Oh yes.
That's a good thing. You know, people love our mother and son duo. Just so y'all know, they love that. They
I know that's
love
right.
that. They love
Oh,
the energy. They love the conversations. They love the vibes. I meant to tell y'all
that's
that
cool.
for
That's
quite some
good to
times now.
know.
They
I know
love
that's
it. They
right.
really think it's really cool because you don't get that too much these days. You know what I mean?
No.
Because the Bible be saying, you know, parents against children, children against parents, sons against mothers, and mothers against sons and
Yeah.
daughters. But this is a whole different vibe and flavor, and people need that. They need to see that, and also that other tree, Margaret, big sister Margaret.
Yes.
Thank you for
Grandma.
always. She's one of our biggest fans.
My
Always
Grammy.
supporting. Always exactly. Grammy, my big sister, and more. And Auntie
Yes.
Kim, shout out to you as well. Olivia, shout out to
Look,
you.
our whole
That's the
family.
Gray
Whole
way.
family.
That's the
Yep.
Gray way. That's the Gray
Whole
family. We
family.
love you. And also our big brother Gray, Shannon's husband, actually Chappelle.
Yes.
Right? Am I right?
Yes. Kevin Chappelle.
Dad Chappelle. I have to call him Big Bro. I can call everybody Big Bro, Big Sister. Our very own King Chappelle. We thank you for your support and more, and listen, the whole family and more, and Trayvon's dad and more. We thank God for you, everybody who's just been super, not just supportive. You've been there in the trenches with us and still there
Yes.
in the trenches with us. And this, we are so grateful, and we thank you for your generosity. And Eric, and we haven't heard from Eric in quite some time. He started with us too, and Molly, who is also a great supporter of us in the trenches with us. The Dad Podcast, Rodney, And Dr. K, we love you like no other as God does. And also Chef Alva, want to give a shout out to Chef Alva. She is in pursuit of a whole nother level of ministry right now in Chicago. She's in Chi-Town as we speak. And Alva, if you're somewhere in YouTube watching us, we love you, and we know that God is blessing you even more as you level up. And we're going to be with her also around about the end of this month. I believe the fourth Sunday, the third Sunday of this month. I'm just trying to remember, but we got some more news coming up with Chef Alva and the Hummingbirds. Well, we got some more great news coming up. So tonight, parents, it's about you guys, and it's about back to school. Woo-hoo! I hear some parents. I heard some parents say, "Really? I can't hardly wait." And some parents are like, "It can't come fast enough."
It makes me a long summer.
Right. And here we are only midway. Now, for some, some people are going back to school in this month of August, and some are going back.
Yes, my
September.
daughter is.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
He's going back in August. All right. My grandbaby's going back in August too. It's a whole nother vibe going back to school these days. It's a whole nother vibe, going on vacation, a whole nother vibe again, going back to school for parents and children. So tonight, parents, we got you. We're talking about, back to school stress, not just the tech stress, but the stress of it all. What kind of support do you need, parents? Where do we start? Where do you need to start? And what's your backup plan? We got a bunch of questions and answers. So for those of you who are watching tonight, so please and you're watching from YouTube, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to chime in and ask your questions, and also share your answers, some tips and tricks, some hacks for being able to cope, and what are some of the things that people need to be aware of. Gen Zs, millennials, whoever you are, we have a whole mix of families who's also helping take care of children. Grandparents, great-grandparents are taking care of children. Across generations are helping to take care of children and also helping in back-to-school efforts. So, yeah, we have a lot to be aware of compared to my day. I don't even want to even talk about my little stories. I would like to hear how are people going to be able to cope between across generations, because it's a lot more challenges than my day. Remember, I'm a boomer, but I'm still a part of the support, right? So here we are. Just want to share a little friendly reminder with our viewers, with everybody who's passing through tonight. Information or videos are not intended nor applied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All content, including graphics, images, and information that we share with you contained in our videos, is for general information purposes and should be and will always be valid and cannot replace consultation with your own doctor or medical health professional. We always want to enhance your mental health journey, enhance your wellness journey, enhance your well-being. That's what we're about. We want to catch you before, things get out of hand. We want to catch you before things become at risk. However, if that happens, we're here for you with the most valid state-of-the-art information and videos and resources for you to be able to live and be the phenomenal you. I'm just saying. All right, so back to school. Here's a little something for you to kickstart your August back to school thoughts on it, on back to school and how you're going to level up. Sharing this from Luke chapter 9, verse 3 and 4. Don't load yourself up with equipment. Keep it simple. You are the equipment. That part. You are the equipment. Don't worry about, what you have and what you don't have. Don't load yourself up with stuff that doesn't even belong to you and will bring more stress to you and the children, to you and your community even. Just keep it what? Keep it simple. You're the equipment. You're equipped, and you will get more support far better than you could ever think of. just saying, keep it like that. Keep it what? Keep it simple, but not basic. What you say, family?
It's in terms of what in
Keeping it simple.
particular of keeping it
Keeping it
simple.
simple. Keeping it simple. Back to school. I don't know it's sort of like I'm not sure if it's a rite of passage, but for me it
Mm-hmm.
used to be a rite of passage because I had a plan, I had a pathway like from my kids, my children, like when I would start the school shopping. I categorized
Mm-hmm.
the school list. I had a particular day of the week to shop. Well, at the time, I didn't do a lot of purchasing online. At the time, I would go shopping for
Yeah.
their school uniforms and things like that, for the school clothes, depending on what school sector that they were in. Sometimes, because I was a teacher and I taught in the private sector, they would go to school with me at a younger age during elementary and and sometimes during middle school, and then from there they transitioned into public school, middle school, high school, and college, stuff like that. But I always had a plan, on how to be able to, get through things smoothly. Um, Transportation, stuff, things like that, how to navigate. Now, I didn't have too much to worry about as far as like tech hiccups and digital stuff like that, because we were still coming into it. My kids are like from the 80s, and we were still coming. The technology was still coming into our, I have to say, our community. We were still able to acclimate to technology, should I say?
Mm-hmm.
So like that really wasn't, as you say, we talked about earlier, Shannon, air conditioning is a luxury. At the time,
Oh
it
yeah.
was like
Yeah.
computers. At the time, we had beepers. If anybody
Yeah.
know
Oh,
anybody
oh,
know
I
anything
know.
about beepers,
Oh,
that was the
I had
before the
several of them.
actual phone, which was crazy.
Yes, I
So
had
I got
several of
crazy
them.
stories about, you know, dinosaur technology before the iPhones and all of that came up. We had beepers. And so that was like my kids' first initial technology. They had beepers, and then we got like the little cell phones and stuff like that. Pagers, uh, which is sort of like the beeper.
Yeah.
Um, and then the thing is, the stories were so funny. I had to like embrace technology because I had to be able to keep up with them while they was going to school by themselves, and I wanted to do it safely while I was working when they weren't in school, going to the same school, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So you had to keep thinking of how to keep it simple. You had to keep thinking of things on how to help uh, without overwhelming you and the children. So
Oh yeah.
so things, stuff like that. How do we help? How do we explore and navigate the digital jungle and tech tools that we need, that our parents need to help keep their sanity, and this
Yeah.
other stuff that they need to help keep
Mm-hmm.
their sanity as a parent, as a person with children.
Well, you know what? I think that like I had mentioned, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Um, Thinking back, and I mentioned this the last show, that when I went to school, and when my sister went to school, was very different. You know, the children now have laptops. Well, I know City of Alexandria, I'm not sure other places, but
They do.
everything is on the laptop.
They do.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no carrying those big, heavy dictionary type books. There's
Right.
barely a need for a locker as long as you had your laptop. Everything was there, including communicating with your teachers. So
Mm-hmm.
one good thing I say about technology and that, as far as school, they have more access to the teachers. The parents have more access to the teachers. Um, we're abreast of like a difference between Trayvon, and Olivia. I mean, it's even more advanced. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to see her grades before her grades come in a paper form to us,
Mm-hmm.
through
Mm-hmm.
the mail. So I think in that aspect of, let's just say, technology and how kids are conversing and how the teachers are teaching now, I really do think that there should be some type of class or something about how you navigate or how you even help your kids navigate and find
Absolutely.
assignments and different things. I'm not even aware of the full capabilities of what is on my daughter's laptop. This is her schoolwork. So
Right.
let's just say when the pandemic happened, they were partially, well, they first started out working from home and they still carry on the school year that way. And you had to
Right.
make sure that you had, oh, that's another thing. You had to make sure that you had, what you call it, internet, strong internet
Mm-hmm.
access. And you
Exactly.
did like a Zoom
Exactly.
type thing. You did that for a
Mm-hmm.
while. Um, it was hard to navigate through those things. You know, I guess the frustration of um, her not being out of the house and all the things the pandemic brought, I specifically remember her just being so overwhelmed with trying to
Right.
deal with that mentally and then trying to navigate through this system and using it in a way they never had to use it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that's one thing as far as technology. If your school system uses that type of technology, I don't
Right.
know. I'm from the state of Virginia. I don't know what New York's doing. I don't know what Iowa's doing. I don't know what
Oh
Florida's
yeah.
doing
New York is
specifically.
they're putting it down.
But
Yeah.
it does seem like they're moving into that. So
Yes.
that's the first thing that we have to navigate through and have a better understanding so we can help our children. Now, the
Exactly.
other thing I want to mention too that probably might be an obstacle is um, having the funds for certain things.
That part.
You know, the funds for
Mm-hmm.
school uniforms. If like you mentioned, school uniforms. Every school doesn't do that, but those that require it require you to have certain things. Now, I'm going back in my mental Rolodex of when some of my neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
when they were in school,
Mm-hmm.
when I was young, and they were going to one of the private schools here in Alexandria. They were issued. You had a winter type outfit. For the school year, you had a summer type outfit, like sure, you had a sweater. Those
Exactly.
things
And
were
a
issued to
blazer.
you, but there
Mm-hmm.
was a fee involved.
Mm-hmm. It was.
I would really like to see, or would really like to know, for parents that can't afford those things and their children are
Exactly.
attending that school, how can
Exactly.
we navigate to help those parents? I personally haven't seen anything. I'm not saying that there isn't, but I haven't seen anything to say, all right, if you cannot afford this, here's the next route that you take. So
Exactly.
that's something I'm kind of curious about, um, as far as helping the parents get back um, into the swing of things. And I couldn't imagine if you had more than one child,
Oh
you had
yeah.
how you had to do that times whatever how many children you had.
Yeah.
Um, the mental stress. I also think too. The third thing that I'm thinking of it is that getting back into doing a summertime routine versus getting back into the school year routine. Those are
Mm-hmm.
two totally different routines.
Exactly.
There's no staying up to 1 o'clock in the morning watching television. You have school in the
Right.
morning.
Right.
And if you've done that for 2 months or
Habits.
so, you got to
Mm-hmm.
get your body and your routine and your mental
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Your
How do you
emotional
do that effectively for
your emotional
everybody?
self. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then if
Mm-hmm.
you're a working parent, oh Lord, you got to make sure you have
Yeah.
a certain age. You got to make sure that childcare is in place.
Yeah.
Um, it's a lot, but I
Mm-hmm.
know for me, I pre-planned as much as I could. I had a lot of help.
Exactly. Yeah.
Different situation. I had a lot of help from my mother and my family with Trayvon,
Exactly.
different
Exactly.
times. And I had definitely a lot of help with Olivia, with my daughter. But for those that don't know, and this, Professor, Trayvon and Olivia are considerable amount of years apart.
Yes.
So
As my children
when
are.
one
Mm-hmm.
was leaving high school, one was entering
Mm-hmm.
into school, basically, or some type of
Exactly.
preschool or something. Um, I
Right.
know it was very difficult to find certain resources as I don't know how you say this. Let's just say, as with Trayvon, I was a single mother. With
Mm-hmm.
Olivia, I was a married mother in two different, hold on, points in life.
Understood.
And it's hard if you don't have a big mama at home to take care, for the children to receive the children in the evening while you work or what you have to do.
Exactly.
Then that is
Exactly.
something that a lot of parents I know dread with going
Yeah.
back to school. Now I have to find, I have to try to arrange. Um, what do they have? Winter break, that's 2 weeks. Spring
Exactly.
break,
Right.
um, all of these
Holidays.
holidays,
Yeah,
all these
holidays.
things
Yeah.
that, yeah, all these things that, surprise. You got parent teacher work days, and that can pop up on you. Your
Exactly.
child needs to have some type of place to go.
Right.
So I
A
mean,
safe
so I think
place.
I said a lot, but I just really wish there were more resources.
Yeah. That's reality. Mm-hmm. That's
Because
reality.
we all
Shit.
know,
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Mm-hmm.
say this and I'll land my plane. We all know that at a certain age, you can't leave your children at home unattended.
Absolutely.
But sometimes, like the latchkey kids, you have to do what
Right.
you have to do
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
mom and daddy got to work. Mom and
Yeah.
daddy need to provide.
Mm-hmm.
And, you get old enough, some people had to do that. Fortunately, I didn't
Right.
have to do that. I had grandparents at home, retired,
Right.
bless them. But everybody,
Mm-hmm.
so my mother didn't have to deal with finding a sitter.
Right.
So that's a blessing right there in itself. Shout out to the grandparents that are able and
Exactly. Shout
willing,
out to them, the grandparents, the great
and the
grandparents, for
aunties and the
sure.
great grandparents and people that
Mm-hmm.
donate their time because they don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. The big brothers, the
Um,
big sisters, absolutely.
big sisters and
Mm-hmm.
everything. We
Uncles,
just,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Aunts,
So I mean,
exactly.
so
Mm-hmm.
I overly answered the question, but I just wanted to those things just really popped up on top of my head, in my mind, of some
Yes,
obstacles.
those
Not
are
only
obstacles.
technology but
Mm-hmm.
financially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That works on your mental. How do you work? How do you work when you're worried about your child or your children?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, that's how I'm seeing it.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Opulent one. That's why you're the opulent one. Listen, you covered it because it's true, and it happens to like so many of us because of we all reach certain different destinations in life. Single parent, single, whether you're a parent or not, married, whether you're a parent or not. Those are different destinations that we reach in life. And definitely we need different resources and different sources of support. So that's it. Life happens. And that's a good thing. So we'll know from one stage to the other what to do and how to do it. And it's different. There's no one size fits all solution. However, we gotta get through it, get through it, get with it, get to it. And keep it simple. And yeah, I'm
Yes.
with you on that, Shannon. I have to say, I've been single, I've been married, I've been a single parent, I've been a single woman, I've been a married woman. And my children have passed through a little bit of latchkey,
Yeah.
latchkey
Yeah.
aspects. And because, like you say, you have to do what you have to do until the support, a different type of support, happened. My thank God for my brothers and my sisters. They helped my grandparents.
Yeah.
They helped. Everybody trying to work. They had different occupations, places where they was working and living. However, we did pull together. We worked out safely and soundly. Some do happen. You just have to move the result. You just have to be aware and change your pathway
Yeah.
of support. Sometimes, for sanctity of your mind and for your children. And now it's a whole different, as we mentioned at the pit stop on Wednesday, talking about, here we are now talking about supportive ideas. And, those are some of the stops, the pitfalls, should I say, that
Yeah.
parents are
Yeah. And
experiencing
you're
now. I'm
breaking up a
sure if
little.
we experience it, I'm sure they're definitely experiencing it now.
Yeah.
So that, and that parenting class, the parent class, that is genius, Shannon. But for there to be some type of parent support class to bring awareness to things that parents need before school, and parents need to identify with, such as preparing their child
Yeah.
mentally, socialization, because that's a whole
Yep.
different thing, socialization. As a teacher, as a prior teacher, when it's
You're breaking up a bit. I think you should
children
try to
talk,
come back in. I think you should
Yeah.
try to close out and come
can you
back
hear
in
me?
because
I'm
you're,
still breaking up.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
breaking up badly.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Just come back in, and we can continue the conversation, Trayvon and I, until you return.
But
Hey,
yeah,
Trayvon. Uh-huh.
hey, mommy.
Hey.
But But no, I don't
Well.
think, like you said, I don't think the subject matter is just simply with technical issues because I know,
Yes.
going back to a conversation I was having about a lot of people not being able to afford school lunches and other
Yeah.
meal,
Talk about
watching
that.
certain kids not be able to have the same, like, because Francis, I'll give an example at TC, like. Everybody wasn't able to go to school and get the wings and the specialty pizza that's rotating
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
warmer, and some people had to get the chicken nuggets, or whatever
Yeah.
it may be. And I know that when kids um, didn't have school lunch money, I mean, they had to send you up to the office on that shameful walk to go get the $3 and whatever it was
Yeah. Yeah.
out of the
Everybody
box,
knew.
and
Everybody
everybody
knew.
knew what that meant when you had that peanut butter and jelly or whatever it was. So
Absolutely.
even the mental. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm so sorry, but finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was going to say, even down to reducing the child down to eating less than because you get like a cold little ham sandwich, honestly, a little
Oh yeah.
dry bread, no mustard on
Yes.
it, nothing. You get reduced down to a lesser than meal because you didn't have the money.
Yes.
So I'm just saying the adjusting, like you mentioned, that the parents have to do. Like it's not your kids ain't just you probably go to bed right now and then your kid watching TV until 1 o'clock in the morning. They probably know
Yeah.
to go to bed at a certain time, but you know what I
Oh
mean.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
now you got to double take a double check and look in that room and see if that TV on or look under that door and see if they try to sneak a
see
TV
if that
show in or
light,
something.
see if that light on, or make sure
Yes.
that you're upstairs or wherever you are.
I used to do it. I'm gonna tell you now that I'm older and now and I'm an adult. I used to tell you I used to put that cover over the TV and finish watching
See,
whatever little show was on or
yeah,
whatever. Yep, block out that light. But
yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
but
we
you
all
know,
did a little something. You know what I mean?
yeah. But there's a lot of
So
yeah, but that us getting up at a certain time, like you having to like knock on my door again to make sure I actually fully up
got
as
up.
opposed to
You know what I
falling
mean?
asleep, and so it's just a whole different adjustment that you got to make
Oh,
to the school year
it
starting.
is.
More
It's a
gas.
Oh, it definitely is. And I remember, I bring that up again about the babysitters. I had to have
Exactly.
some. Hey, once or twice, I'm not gonna lie, I had to sneak you in to work
Yeah, good. Do what you
and put
got
you
to do.
somewhere, but you do what you have to do because it's a double-edged sword. And childcare is expensive.
Yes,
You got to get. I mean, we went down to there's services through the city that everybody used, regardless.
exactly,
But the
exactly.
good thing about that was we need to have more things like that on a sliding fee scale
Yes,
versus you applying for it and you just don't qualify.
right.
You know,
Because
because that's
it was
yeah,
terribly
that's
expensive at that time. Not to mention now, I can't imagine what
oh
parents are
my
putting out
gosh.
now in
Let me tell
2024
you,
for that.
camp. I told you, camp was at least $700.
Lord have
But
mercy.
Wow, for
I
camp.
found a way to save tax returns and put a little money here and
Yeah,
just
exactly.
set it and forget it. So when that time rolled around, because I know I needed it,
Right.
and then there was the Gap Camp and those crazy
Yeah, I
visas and
remember
all that
that.
type of stuff because I had to work. So that's a big adjustment. I would love to also see um and they have them. I see quite a few of them, but some people don't participate the way that they could for school drives, for backpacks,
Oh
school
yes.
supplies, school clothes and
Oh
stuff.
yes.
What you call it? Coat drive, coat and hat drive. I guess that's what you call it, the coat drive.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and I don't want to down anybody that has put that initiative out, but then some folks I have seen. I'm going to always make it clear what I have experienced, my
Right.
perception. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that people don't participate in a lot of things the way they could. Shoot, I can tell you how many coats that Libby can't wear anymore in the
Right.
closet.
Right.
Somebody could use that. And I always try to encourage my family.
Right.
Hey, you got
Get rid of
six
all of the
coats in
stuff.
there. You ain't wearing
Right.
2 years. Give
Yep.
it up. Somebody can use it. And then
But
same
the
thing for
second
the
somebody
parents
claim it,
too.
then it's like all of a sudden people want it. All of a
Yeah,
sudden
and
people,
same
but the
thing.
person that left it in
Yeah,
the, you know.
you ain't
Hmm.
wear that thing in 5 years, or
Yep.
your child ain't
Now
wear that
you
towel
want
in a
it.
year.
Right.
Somebody could use it. Um, and there's another thing too that's kind of not the norm, but there are where crocheters and knitters can knit hats and scarves and stuff for people that need it.
Yes.
You know,
I would love to be able
knit.
to produce something like that by hand that that can go directly to people. I think
Well, I
that's a nice.
mean, with that, I'm definitely going to, I crochet. I'm not like Naya, but I do crochet, and that I think that that's something that kill two birds with one stone, be able to practice your
Yes.
craft and be able to assist someone too. But I know that there are more um, things that parents need assistance with,
Yes.
that maybe I have forgot or has changed since you were a little boy.
Yeah.
Um, I would really like to hear, get a better understanding of
Yes.
what those things are. So, not to, you know, if anybody is listening or if they hear it, we definitely always love to hear from our audience. What are
Very
those
true.
things that parents need? Straight up, honest. What are those things
Right.
that parents need to be able to transition back into the school year? What are the issues? What are the obstacles? Or again, what do you need just to make it a little easy? Is would be my
Exactly.
question. And if anybody hears
Exactly.
this, I wouldn't mind them putting on our board what those things are. What's changed? Like I said, you're 30, so
Right. Exactly.
a lot has happened since you were a little
A
boy,
lot has happened. Exactly.
and a lot has
A
happened
lot has
since
happened.
my daughter was a little girl,
Exactly.
that we're not aware of. So yes, yeah. So we can probably list those things of technology, getting used to technology, seeing what resources people physically need, whether it be school clothes for the children, what do you call it, backpacks, school supplies, assistance with uniforms. I also want to recap and mention, certain services. If there is a fee, for it to be on a sliding fee scale, not
Exactly.
just an approval process. That if you make $2 over, I'm sorry,
Exactly. All of a
it's
sudden they're going to
crazy.
hit you
If
with
you make two
right.
dollars over of the line, that says you cannot be approved for this, that
Right.
should be eliminated, and it should definitely be at least a sliding fee scale based on your income. So what the lady across the street pays and she can afford, or however they calculate that, versus the person
Exactly.
on the other side. Everybody has available services to get things done. I just
Exactly.
really believe, I'm very passionate about that. I just really believe, as far as daycare was a big thing, was a
Mhm.
big obstacle.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Sliding fee
Absolutely.
scale,
Absolutely.
it was
Yeah.
very successful, and I was able to have my child in a very safe and comfortable place.
Yeah.
But what are the other things? Would
I
be
think
my
it's the
question.
I think one of the things would be the time. I mean, I feel like the parents that work through the summer and all of that, because everybody's
Hmm.
not off during the summer taking trips and everything. Some people work
No.
through regardless of the season. I would still think it would be the time. Um, like just because if summertime, I feel like when the parents get off work, yeah, you might go somewhere with your kids and stuff, but I feel like you're more likely to see them. You have a lot more downtime where they're home and available. Though they might be in extracurricular activities as well as during the school year. I don't know. I feel like the time constraint, the stress of being on a schedule. I feel like a demanding schedule, a strict and consistent schedule. I feel like is more puts more strain on the interaction and stuff. Period. When your parent is tired and they barely want to get up and they gotta get up, they could be sleeping for an hour or two more, and they gotta get up to take you to school and all of that. I feel like all of that runs together, creates a lot of
Yeah,
extra stress, and I feel like in a house when all these schedules and stuff are going, as opposed to the leisure of like summertime.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I do think summertime can be more difficult. I really do.
Yeah.
You know,
Explain why. Why do you
because
think that?
uh, I mean, for the very things that I just said, pretty much. Summertime,
Right.
yes, the children are out, but the children are out, and you have to do something with them. They need to be
Yeah.
entertained. They need to go somewhere. And like I say, if you don't have a situation where you have a grandparent or auntie or whoever that you can
Hmm.
just leave them with or take them to, um, you have to do some jiggling around.
Right.
Everybody doesn't
I
have
get you.
that type of situation. They really don't. It's just them uh,
Yeah.
and their responsibility. Um, so things were actually, in my experience, were a little smoother when you were in school.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Okay.
oh, it was a pre-planned thing. Um,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it was a pre of the pre-plan
Yeah.
thing. Um, I remember, gosh, I had to think back. I ain't trying to age you too much, Trayvon. But thinking back, having to have the in conjunction with the school calendar to not let these days that I know I need childcare to creep up on me.
Yeah.
Um, I had to know that beforehand. You know, I need to be reminded that because life happens. I needed to be reminded that
Yeah.
spring break was coming up. That meant, and the breaks, not just summertime, the breaks.
Yeah.
What do you call it? When they get out early, parent teacher conference or
Yep.
teacher development day. And,
Yep.
and I don't know, maybe it's me. I swear that Olivia is off all the time for something that I didn't
Yeah.
even know there was an
Yeah. That was so much
observance.
more than back then. Yeah.
I'm like, what? I mean, Professor, you can probably relate to that. It's just like, oh, what are you off for?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I can't say that that I can't relate to it because as a teacher, I was happy.
I know you
Those are like Christmas days throughout the year
were.
for me as a teacher and a mother,
Yeah.
a wife and sister, and I had other things going on outside of school and stuff like that. I was
Yeah.
tutoring. I was
Mm.
also a dean. So when I leveled up from teacher to dean as an administrator, my responsibilities became even more. And my kids, my parents had to tell me, had to sort of like pull me to the side and say, like, listen, are you butter? Do you feel the need to be in everything?
Yeah.
Uh, because like the kids there's some issues going on and you need to be aware. So I just had to reevaluate. But I love those days off. But I
Oh, I know you did.
understand at the same
Yeah.
time what parents are passing through and what they have passed through. And just like this is why I'm glad we spoke on it tonight. And we're gonna be doing another segment on this because there's a lot of support out there for our Gen Z parents, our younger millennials, and our mixed households across generation of support. Some of the things we could do as we speak is sharing newsletters, having a school to share newsletters, having the schools to have parent support links, having a liaison to support parents, having a parent coordinator I'm not even sure if they even have parent coordinators anymore. I know during when my children were going to school, that was a plus because the parent coordinator is sort of like the liaison between the parent, child, and the family to give them some type of support and for somebody to be able to talk with and have sort of like inside sources for parents and students. Also, email newsletters, the community, nonprofits, or just community uh, centers, community sources should be available, and sharing those emails and newsletters amongst community supporters, among the media, with those school letters, social media, sharing those newsletters and social media. I mean, come on, most of our parents, their children are born with the cell phone in their hand. You know, they are media
Yes.
babies. They are media babies. So they navigate, they actually, that's their life. That's our life now, is the media, is technology. However, being able to have a safe and I have to say a safe support link and a stable support link that changes with our progression, it changes with our development. There's really no one size fits all. As we found out with that tech hiccup, we just
Yes.
got to be able to use different things and platforms to make our lives better. And parents today need a lot more than we needed just 5 or 10 years ago, should I say. Websites should create dedicated sections with newsletters and resources. And again, I don't know, I'm back to that parent class and support camps. Those two things are standing out in my mind, Shannon, what you mentioned before, because if they integrated parent classes and support camps, that would be a great plus for parents uh, before they go back to school. You know, socializing the children, having those things in mind, and planning as a part of their planning to go back to school. I think the transition would be much easier, and then they could cope with other things otherwise as they go along, because everybody moves at their own pace, and that's okay. But at least they would have a stronger support system to help them, to reinforce what needs to happen going back to school. Again, just combining these methods and continually reaching out to parents, so it'll make them feel like it's Christmas on the regular. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Also having essential school tech supplies, um, like tablets, laptops. The children, everybody needs that from age, look like to me, from birth to 70,
Mhm.
80. Everybody needs some type of technology, fit
Yes.
it in their life so that they can live and not just, survive, but so they can live and understand how to, get to the next move.
Hey, Professor.
Having the right supplies, custom made for them. And that part what you shared also came to mind too, Shannon, about school uniforms.
Mhm.
In New York, we do have like major uh, vendors for school uniforms. However, in the private sector and also in the public sector, it's different. The vendors are different. I don't know how they're financed, but I do know that it could be better, as you stated earlier.
Mhm.
And to make it better, I think, in my experience, I've also seen that people donate. They donate brand new uniforms. Sometimes the child outgrows the uniform so quick they don't have time to wear the extra uniforms that parents
Yes.
buy, and that can go on that can be for the next child, and that should be, in my mind, set up as a donation, ongoing donation throughout the school year, because stuff happens. Sometimes people have a fire in their home and they lose stuff in their homes. They lose their belongings. Everything is destroyed in a fire. And the child might be going to school. He or she will need a uniform. At least these things would be in place to help, people, to help parents to cope by having sources such as uniforms, donated uniforms, and have those uniforms cleaned, have a vendor to clean them and keep them clean, and keep them on hand for parents who need school uniforms for their children. And I've seen that happen in New York, and I believe that happens on a continual basis, but I'm just not sure if all states are adapting to that And we encourage you, for whoever's listening in all 50 states, please, just up the ante, just up, level up with that. We thank those who are already doing it. We just need it to become a part of our parents' availability. So they'll know, and they'll be aware
Yeah.
of where they can go in the event that they need it.
Grand
Um,
Queen, Grand Queen. If I
yes,
can just assert one little thing, that when you were talking, you two things came to mind. I'm not sure if it's on your list. The first one is available internet access, affordable internet access for all
that
children
part.
for who you
Yeah,
apply. That's very important. You can't
yes, it
have
is. Yes, it
laptops
is.
and expect them to do work and they don't have
Internet
internet
access.
access that they can purchase
Absolutely.
at an affordable rate in their home. Also, I'm thinking too with the school uniform. I've never had to deal with that situation. My children didn't require the school uniform, but how about if you did donate? If you have children go through growth spurts, so
Exactly.
you find that that child can't wear those pants anymore. How about when they turn those in as a sort of a donation, they get some type of credit
Oh,
that they can
yes, yes.
use,
Incentive.
some type of
Absolutely.
incentive, some type of credit that they can use
Absolutely.
to be able to
Maybe
apply.
towards tuition or something. Oh,
Yes,
yes.
tuition, or apply it wherever you
Uh-huh.
can apply it. So I just want to
Yeah.
say that, and I didn't want to forget.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's
Yes, I'm
that's a
sorry to
stellar
interrupt.
move. That's a stellar move. Incentives for donating. You know I'm writing that down, right? Oh, we gonna
Yeah, I
definitely
see you doing it.
reiterate on this one.
I see you thinking. I know what
Oh,
you're
yes,
doing.
I am. Yes, I am. You know how it goes when I'm thinking. My eyes start
Mm,
blinking.
yeah, right. Start looking over your
This
glasses.
is so amazing. This is so good because this is what happens when the village comes together, family. This is what happens in the village. This is what's supposed to happen in the village. These are some valid points, key moments to engage and enhance life for parents to be able to what? To get through that back to school stress and to de-stress, to keep that thing off of you. Yeah, that internet. Oh yeah, that internet access is among the top of the list because without internet access, it's like everything is stalled or slower. Again, stalled meaning slower. Stuff just, I don't know, you just feel like you just can't get past go if there's no uh valid, no internet access, good internet access. So yes, yeah, that's equally as important as having good mental health. It's attached. It's attached. Oh man, this is so good. For those of you who are watching and listening, listen, keep that in mind. That's among the top of the list there because it's attached to your well being, your social self. You've got to have good connections, right? Like the spider web, it's not about the web that the spider weaves, it is about the connection, right?
Yes,
So here we
yes.
are. Oh, this is just phenomenal. Here we are. We had some great questions and great input tonight. And here's some more eye-popping questions for our parents. Just came to mind. When you mentioned too early, I got to piggyback on that one too, Shannon. Sneaking the baby into work. I've seen
Yes.
parents, they had to do it.
Yeah, I had
Sneaking a
to.
child into work, creating their own bring a child to work day. That's okay.
Yes.
For those supervisors who were lenient and understanding, listen, we applaud you. Thank you for understanding. Not all supervisors and those in the workplace are as understanding. However, at the same time, the workplace must change to accommodate parents. And also for parents to not have to pay for those accommodations. How about that? Another incentive. All right. That's another way for parents to help them to cope, to have these incentives at work, have daycare, have child care centers, or some type of place for their child to be safely monitored while they are working, within reach while they are working. And I think that would create balance. We shared some funny stories tonight too. on some of
Yeah.
the mishaps we experienced with our children. There's a bunch of mishaps that come to mind as a parent. You know, you could write a book on a day-to-day basis. Here we are, still learning how to be a parent, still learning how to be a grandparent, still learning how to be a big sister, a big aunt, how to be an aunt, a big bro, how to be a big a grand uncle, you know, an aunt, a grand aunt. Still learning how to help each other get through the stresses of life and cope. And we got to do it together. And just as I mentioned earlier on, you know, don't load yourself up with equipment. Keep it simple. You are the what? You are the equipment. Remember that. Keep it simple. And help yourself to remain the phenomenal you and your children and family. We love you like no other, as God does. We hear our amazing background music. I love our background music. To all the Gen Zs and younger millennials out there who feel overwhelmed by stress, don't worry. You got this, and we are with you on this. Right? What you guys say? Trey, you guys want to take us out for the pit stop? Give them a little heads up for the pit stop. And our next show will be in 2 weeks. Remember, we are alternate Sundays, but every Wednesday. You guys want to take us out on the pit stop?
Sure, not a problem. First of all, I'm going to read our disclaimer because that's one thing that I must do is hit us in the beginning and the end of, with our disclaimer, which protects us from those that may happen to, and which we encourage you not to do, but that may get encouraged by or get swayed by things we say and get led astray. So what we're trying to do is keep you from doing that. We don't want anything that we give out as advice to be taken um, as a way or a deterrent from, speaking with true medical advisors on what steps you should take towards your mental health and your next steps towards, um, freeing yourself. So we don't want you to get caught up with anything that we say and take it for face value and forget to still seek out that medical professional help and advice. The information in this video is not intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All content is to be considered as such. We are mental health advocates that are here for you. The shows that we have on Wednesdays are our pit stop shows from 7:30 to 8 p.m. We are doing every other Sunday, so not next Sunday, but the following Sunday after that, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are doing our Just Stop the shows. So I encourage those that stop by or catch our stream at any time to catch some of our shows and our live streams on YouTube. There's definitely plenty for you to watch. The intention on Wednesday shows is for you to catch our vibe and just to see what's going on with us, as well as a check-in, a time for us to kind of let each other know how the week is going, maybe give each other a word of encouragement to keep moving forward. But yeah, I encourage everybody to check out our YouTube and check out some of our previous videos.
Absolutely, absolutely. And don't forget, we have our first engagement with Chef Alva. I believe it'll be the last Sunday, actually the fourth Sunday in this month. We'll keep you abreast of that amazing and exciting upcoming news with our Chef Alva. Right? So here we are. We'll be back Wednesday. You guys don't hesitate. Pass through. Share your back to school moments. Share your back to school backup plan with us on this Wednesday. We will be glad. We want to hear from you. Love you much. And remember, keep it simple.
I know, that's all right.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Love you too.
All right, love you too. Have a good night.
In a while.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
All right, y'all.